Change standby. Emergency. Dekaranger. It's morphin' time.
Special shout out to all our channel members, including our Captain Tiers, Infinity Wartorn, Spin-54, Super Shaddix Boom, Toma K, Jamie's World, Matthias Laura, Don Ranger Power, Donnie Waldman, Dr. Grid, Jeremy Carr, It's La Dorman, Toku Texas Cosplay, Common Pikachu, Satargo's the Kaiju from Krypton, Brendan Overland, and AMG and Marco 27. If you'd like to support the channel, hit the join button down below for more details. Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the Tokusou Sentai Dekaranger 20th Memorial Edition SP license. Now, this was a premium Bandai exclusive release for Japan and Asia, but was not released in the US, thanks to existing copyrights through different companies. But this is the fanciest version of the SP license on the market to date. The SP license, of course, being the main transformation device for Deka Red, Deka Blue, Deka Yellow, Deka Pink, and Deka Green. So the main 5 Dekarangers use this in the show for all kinds of things, from transforming, to judging whether or not the alienizer needs to be deleted, to calling each other on the phone. There is a lot of uses for the SP license in the series, beyond just being the changer. And what's really cool about it is that we've gotten a few versions of it over the years. There was the Super Sentai Artisan release in 2017, and that version is the same mold that was used for the Memorial Edition. However, the Memorial Edition makes several upgrades to that version that we will talk about. I don't own the Super Sentai Artisan, nor do I own the original Deluxe one, but I will talk about the differences because I, did research. It's a thing I do. So the thing with this release, of course, we are going to go through all the sounds and all the features and take a look and decide, is this worth it? And is it going to be worth it when they put out multiple editions of this? Because we already know that there is a Premier Deka Red special edition coming out with the Blu-ray for the movie later this year. So, let's find out, is the base product good so we can get all the variations that may exist? So here's everything you get in the package. We, of course, have the SP license itself. We have the holster as well, and then these 5 cards. And these cards are the ID cards. So, of course, we got Deka Red, and it lists his, code name and his arms there. Then we've got Deka Blue. We got Deka Green. We have Deka Yellow, and, of course, Deka Pink. Now, this release includes just these 5. On the original deluxe version, these were stickers, and you just have to choose one to put in the bottom plate of the SP license. I'm not sure what the material was on the Super Sentai Artisan. It seemed like they were cardboard, but I'm not 100% certain. These are actually a nice flexible plastic, so it's got the printing on the back, and then it's a plastic sheet on the front. So you get a nice glossy reflection, but they're also a little bit sturdier than something like cardboard. And of note, when they were included in the packaging, they had this little plastic film on the front. I tried leaving it on them, but they just kind of got hooked on the different edges. So it does recommend you just pull those off so you can get it all nice, shiny, and glossy. So you can essentially choose whichever Dekaranger you want to become with these, or you could put your own custom card plate in if you so wish. So I think that's pretty awesome. The other thing I want to kind of talk about, not to get it out of the way, but it doesn't do a whole lot, is the holster. The original deluxe one was like a not so rigid material. It was like a little bit softer. This is a hard plastic. It does have the 2017 copyright stamp from the Super Sentai Artisan edition, but it is silver plastic with silver paint, but the silver paint is not on the inside, so that way when you're putting the license in and out, it's not rubbing paint, which is super smart. Of course, you got the SPD Special Police Dekaranger logo and a belt clip on the back. And the way this works is you just insert it basically backwards, and it slots right in. It does rattle around. It doesn't hold in super tight. Ignore a little battery tab for the moment, but it does hold it. So if you want it on a shelf, that's how it evens out, because you can't really stand this on its own. That's why this doesn't include a stand like some of the other Memorial Editions, such as the Go Kaijiro Mobiritz has a stand. This doesn't, but it has your holster, and I can almost see, if we get multiple versions, you can just line up your holsters, or even clip them to some types of shells if you so wish. But that's pretty much what that does. So let's just get that out of the way. The basic features of this are similar to pretty much every other SP license that has ever existed. And yeah, first things first, batteries. It takes 3 LR44 batteries. You pull the tab, and then now they're active. But it does have an on-off switch. There's a mode 1 and a mode 2. The speaker is located back here. The way that the SP license works in the series and the way it works on the toy, you got 3 functions. You got change, phone, and judge. So you switch to change, you press the button, and you get the nice badge symbol there. This will activate the transformation. Then you can see this bottom plate is where you put your Dekaranger of choice. We'll just go with Deka Red for this video. But you just line it up, put it in. Looks really nice and clean. I did find if you want to switch it out, you just got to kind of grab an edge. Pops right out. I guess we'll just show off all of them. Here's Deka Blue. So you get Deka Blue there. You can just kind of pick your favorite. Just pick red as a default. I actually kind of don't want to do red since the Premier Deka Red version is coming out. So I think I'm going to go with somebody different. We'll jump in line here and put Deka Pink in like that. So you can see nice and neat. They're really easy to get out because of that flexible plastic. Kind of like the, it's sturdier than the cards for like the CSM Deka driver, but it is still a pretty sturdy but flexible piece. I'm going to go with Deka Yellow. I like Jasmine, so we're going to go with her. The second function is the phone function, and pushing that, you can see we've got the SPD logo, phone record, data search, all those features in the show. There's not really sounds for those in this, and it's not like a touch screen, so it's just like a plastic plate with a sticker. You can see it says communication, and then the keypad on the bottom for calling and necessary means, and then you switch it to judge, and then here is the judgment mode where you can kind of see the 2 symbols, but that is one of the coolest features, which of course we will look at. Before we get too far ahead, I do want to make one comparison. That is the Power Rangers SPD Patrol Morpher. So this is the American release of the Morpher from way back when, and you can kind of see they are, you know, this one is a little bit bigger, kind of the size of the deluxe Japanese one. The American one, you had your morph, but then they left the keypad on the bottom, and that was because they only had 2 slides, so it was morph and judge. This is how the judgment mode appeared on the deluxe Dekaranger as well, where they just showed the symbols. So having this with all 3 functions for the first time in my life is pretty awesome. So yeah, this was just a basic toy, and this is all I had for a while. And all it did was it just did like the basic morph, and then you could do the judgment mode, and it would always declare everything guilty. So it's very basic, but it's pretty simple, and that's kind of the fun of it. It's why this is one of my favorite Sentai changers. I do also find it interesting that the Power Rangers SPD version has this like extra like SPD like raised detail, and then they have the star like sculpted in with this etched detailing. But then with this, to be more accurate to the show, it is just the letters, and it's kind of flat. It's like more of like a really hefty tampograph as opposed to like an actual molded detail like this. And I just think it's kind of an interesting change. Same with like the texture up here. It's got some texture and some detail, whereas this is flatter. So this is definitely more show accurate, but this has got kind of an interesting like difference in design. Just some weird little thing I noticed. But this is an absolute improvement, I think, on every prior version. And I think let's talk about that in the form of sounds. All right, so the way the sounds work on this is there's 2 modes. If you switch it to mode 1, it's going to give you the basic functions like the deluxe toy pretty much with some voice lines, and then you switch it to mode 2, it's the cast mode, and you'll get all kinds of voices and sounds. So let's switch it to mode 1. So you get that little confirmation sound, and when you move the slider, nothing really changes, just kind of makes slider sounds. Let's start with the phone function. It's kind of the default mode because you get different voice clips, and you're going to get voice clips from the phone sound, but you also get voice clips from their commander Doggy Kruger sending the Dekarangers on a mission, as well as a line from each of the Dekarangers. So now if you hold the button down, you're going to get 2 sound effects. I'm not exactly sure what the first one is. It's kind of a weird noise. It kind of sounds like almost like the closing sound. But then the second one is going to be the calling sound from the original deluxe toy. So pretty cool overall. There's a lot to the phone function in this Memorial Edition because you get the voice lines. So now we're going to switch into change mode to turn into a Dekaranger. Now there's two versions of the transformation. We're going to start with the show accurate sounds. So now if you do want to do the toy accurate sound, you switch it from here back up to change, and that'll activate the second version, which is shorter. Now what's a cool feature that wasn't present in the original deluxe toy is you can activate the Dekaranger's power-up swap mode by holding down the top button. And one other feature with the change mode is that if you double press the button up here, it will do the sound for releasing the transformation. All right, now we're going to switch to judgment mode. Now this is one of my favorite features in this because this feels like they really improved it. And when they did the Super Sentai Artisan version initially, there was a defective issue to it where one of the images was reversed. And there was also a thing with the Artisan one, with that SSA, there was a feature, it was random to get like a not guilty verdict, whereas this one, you press the button and it'll open the judgment, and if you press the button, you'll get guilty, and if you hold the button, you'll get not guilty. And that allows you to have a little bit more flexibility in the role play, which I think is pretty cool. So it is something they did improve specifically from the Super Sentai Artisan, if all my information is correct.
Judgment time. Judgment time.
So that's a really cool feature, especially when you have the rotating symbols there, because I think it's just really cool that, especially with this piece being a separate moving piece, it's really impressive that they work the engineering out there. But let's take the lights down and show you how bright and powerful the LEDs are in this. So we have just a little bit of light coming in from the window, but this will give you an idea how this looks in a darker setting. And that's pretty solid, right? Here's the change mode. And of course, judgment time here.
Judgment time.
And that just is bright. The fact it glows in any situation is really, really impressive. So now we're going to take this thing into mode 2, also known as the cast mode. And this is going to be more of your voice lines and music and stuff you expect from a Memorial Edition. And a lot of these things have very minor, but I think very significant changes to the Super Sentai Artisan. So if you're looking to see if this is going to be worth it if you have the Artisan, there's one feature in particular I think makes this superior to that version. But we're going to switch it over to its secondary mode, which is cast mode.
Tokusou Sentai Dekaranger.
So there are a ton of voice lines in here, but a lot of them are very short, so we're actually going to put them all in this video. I normally do a separate video for voice lines, like with the Super CSA Digivices that have like 125 lines per character. This is a lot more straightforward, so we're just going to put it all in one video. But I will start with change and judge before going back to phone, because at phone's where most of the lines come in. Now here is a feature that I really love, is how you can recreate the transformation from the show with the voices and the music. And it starts by sliding this into change mode.
Change standby. Danger. Emergency. Dekaranger. コールを受けたデカベースから形状記憶宇宙金属デカメタルが微粒子状に分解され送信され、そして彼らの体の表面で定着し、デカスーツとなるのだ。一つ。非道な悪事を憎み一つ。不思議な事件を追って三つ。未来の科学で捜査。4つ。よからぬ宇宙の悪を5つ。一気にスピード退治。SPD デカレッドデカブルデカグリーンデカイエローデカピンク特捜戦隊デカレンジャー。
So that's really awesome. Getting the full transformation with the narrator, with the music, with the roll call right after. Fantastic. Now the Artisan version did have that feature, and I'm going to switch this off just so I can demonstrate. But the way the Artisan version worked is you switch it to change, you'd press the button, and then it would start saying, change standby, emergency Dekaranger. Whereas this actually fixes it so that if you slide it up, it says change standby, and then that way when you press the button, that's when the transformation begins, and it plays the music in sequence. And then as you heard, the first few notes of the theme song start playing, because after that initial transformation, you get the theme song playing in the versions played in the show, the short size. And that's really cool too, because you can activate things like swap mode after that, having the music as a backing. But then to go a step further, there's actually 4 different settings to the change function, and that is something really amazing. So when you first switch it, it allows you to play the transformation music. But when you switch it again, you get the short version of the theme song. On the 3rd time, you get the full version of the theme song, and then on the 4th time, you do it without music. So that way you can prep it ahead of time for which version you want to do. So we already did the version with the normal standby music, so we're going to do the versions with the theme song to show you how it's a little different, but we won't do the entire roll call. So that's how the 4 variations differ when it comes to the change mode. And I think it's really cool. You get options. It's really nice. It gives you a lot of control and freedom. Now, there are several features that happen after you transform as the Dekarangers. And so to demonstrate those, what we're going to do is show off how the swap mode works, because you can activate swap mode almost immediately from this, or you can do it at any point. So at any point during the transformation, you hold the button down and it'll activate swap mode. But we're going to do this on the standard mode with the normal change music. So that's pretty cool. You get the narration, you get the sound effects, you get the voices. Just fantastic to have that for swap mode. Now, the big thing too is that once you've done the transformation after swap mode or whatever, you notice that once I push that button, the music stopped. That's because you can push this button and cycle through the 4 songs that are built into this. And that will be the theme song with the narration, the theme song without the narration, the full version of the theme song, and then the transformation music. So I'll cycle through those as a quick demo, but not play the entire things.
Tokusou Sentai Dekaranger SPD スペシャルポリスデカレンジャー燃えるハートでクールに戦う5人の刑事たち彼らの任務は地球に侵入した宇宙の犯罪者たちと戦い人々の平和と安全を守ることである
So I like that there is music included, though I do wish there was some more tracks just compared to other memorial items. But these are all specific to the functions of this. Though I hope that maybe the master license for Doggy Kruger that will hopefully come. I mean, they're making a sword. They're making a sword. They got to be making the license, right? I hope that one maybe includes Midnight Dekaranger, the ending song, because that's one of my favorite songs from the show. That's pretty much all the features within change mode that are specific to the cast mode. So let's switch it to judgment mode and see what happens. So that's pretty awesome. You get the judgment, you get the call out, you get all of that, narration. It's just a full experience. Now, on top of that, once you do the judgment, you can activate Judgment again, and then each time you activate Judgment, it'll cycle through one of each Dekarangers doing a specific phrase to a Judgment call, so it'll go from red to blue to green to yellow to pink. And I'll just be showing these specific phrases. I'll show you how to get to it once, and then we'll just repeat the lines after that.
Judgment! Judgment time! ありえない側に対してデリート許可これにて一見コンプリートメガロポリスは日本バレーこれにて一見コンプリートスーパークールにパーフェクトこれにて一見コンプリートこの世に解けない謎はない
これにて一見コンプリートこの世に止まない雨はないこれにて一見コンプリートあとはお風呂でのんびりと
Alright, so that is the full features of Judgment and Change Mode in Cast Mode, as far as I know. If I somehow missed something, let me know in the comments. But in Phone Mode, things get very interesting because now we have 7 different groups of voice lines and different voice lines for each character. So when we open the phone, it's going to activate sounds for Deca Red, and then you hold the button down to switch it to blue, to green, to yellow, to pink, to the Dekarangers, and the narrator. And they all get multiple lines. We're going to go through all of them because this is going to be it. But if you do want to skip to the end of the video, there's the timestamp in case you don't want to hear all the voices. But they're pretty quick, so it shouldn't take too long.
俺の怒りは空前絶後疾風怒涛だ相棒真実一路一発必中一気に行くぜ正義は絶対勝つ相棒って言うなレイン星人アブレラ銀河消滅及び惑星間戦争における大量殺人の罪でジャッジメントこれにて一見コンプリートメガロポリスは日本バレーデカブルアンベレーバブ相棒って言うなお前が仕切るな今のお前には分からないだろうこの腕を支えているものが何なのかお前は俺にとって最高の相棒だったんだぞ俺の代わりはいくらでもいる努力さえすれば俺程度には誰だってなれるだがお前の代わりは簡単には見つからないんだぞこれにて一見コンプリートスーパークールにパーフェクトデカグリーンなんか気になるんだよねよっこらセットこれは1000のシンキングポーズであるこれをすると何かがひらめくのだ 1+1 は2地球書1の穏健派で通ってるんだけどその気持ちを土足で踏みにじるなんて許さない俺は絶対に許さないこれにて一見コンプリートこの世に解けない謎はない
でかいイエロー一気に行くべしジャスミンのドーンとやってみようドーン
ジャスミンはエスパーである物体を通じてそれに触れていた人の思いを読み取ることができるのだ
ごめん見解あっと驚くためごろバインならさてなんじゃらほい大きいことはいいことだおマットさんでしたスーパーなのはいいことだよござんすかよござんすねこれにて一見コンプリートこの世に止まない雨はないデカピンク梅子ちゃん良い子強い子めげない子マーフィーチュッチュッチューあわあわマーフィー危険と分かっていても人々を守るためなら飛び込んでいくそれが私たちデカレンジャーの使命じゃないのマーフィー一つ非道な悪事を憎み二つ不思議な事件を追って三つ未来の科学で捜査四つよからぬ宇宙の悪を五つ一体全体ライセンスはどここれにて一見コンプリートあとはお風呂でのんびりとエマージェンシーデカレンジャースワットモードオンデカマシン発進 SP ライセンスセット特捜合体ジャッジメントデリート許可ゴッチュラジャー特捜戦隊デカレンジャー君のハートにターゲットロック SPD スペシャルポリスデカレンジャー燃えるハートでクールに戦う5人の刑事たち彼らの任務は地球に侵入した宇宙の犯罪者たちと戦い人々の平和と安全を守ることであるこれは1000のシンキングポーズであるこれをすると何かがひらめくのだジャスミンはエスパーである物体を通じてそれに触れていた人の思いを読み取ることができるのだジャスミンはエスパーであるその手を通して人の心が読み取れるのだ梅子はエスパーではないだから触れても何もわからないのだコールを受けたデカベースから形状記憶宇宙金属デカメタルが微粒子状
カベースから放射されたスワットアーマーと D リボルバーを装着し、デカレンジャーはスワットモードになるのだ。アリエナイザーに対しては、スペシャルポリスの要請により、遥か銀河の彼方にある宇宙最高裁判所から判決が下される。SPD スペシャルポリスデカレンジャー、燃えるハートでクールに戦う6人の刑事たち。彼らの任務は地球に侵入した宇宙の犯罪者たちと戦い、人々の平和と安全を守ることである。SPD スペシャルポリスデカレンジャー、燃えるハートでクールに戦い続けて20年の刑事たち。彼らの任務は地球に侵入した宇宙の犯罪者たちと戦い、人々の平和と安全を守ることである。操作せよ、デカレンジャー。戦え、特捜戦隊デカレンジャー。
So the question is this worth it? I say yes if you don't have a Super Sentai Artisan SP license. If you do, it's a little bit harder of a sell because this is relatively the same, but it does have more voices. It has different music features. I think the slider that turns on to the change standby part and the judgment part works way better than the Super Sentai Artisan did. And the Memorial Edition did not ship with the defects, so if you're looking for one on the aftermarket, it's going to be a lot easier to make sure you know you got a good Memorial Edition. So honestly, I do say this is worth it to Dekaranger fans if you're looking for a nice, fancy, probably top-of-the-line SP license. This is definitely going to be the job for that. If you have a Super Sentai Artisan or you have a deluxe one, it's going to be up to you if you decide you need the upgrade. But I hope I provided enough info in this video. For me personally, though, I spent about $95 on this after shipping, and I'm super duper happy with it. I couldn't be happier. I got it in this morning, and I played around with it for like 2.5 hours. I was just really having fun unlocking all the sounds and everything, and then I was like, I gotta get this video filmed because I want to get all this information out onto the video before I forget it all. But this is definitely something I really, really like, and I am looking forward to the Premier Deca Red license is coming up because I did order that, and I am looking forward to hopefully them making a master license and the white license, and then, you know, there's other variations they can do as well. So I hope that we see more off of this because this did seem to sell well enough that there is a second round of pre-orders going out that will ship in December of 2024. So there is going to be more chances out there for this. I wish you all the best of luck if this is something you want to track down, because personally, as a Dekaranger fan, I think this is absolutely worth it. But yeah, it's going to be up to you on your personal collection habits, but I think this is a terrific, terrific release overall. So on that note, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Hit the like button while you're down there. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell. It really helps the channel grow and continue to do cool videos like this. There is definitely more Super Sentai coming this year on the channel. It's going to be a fun time, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. But if you want to get hints and details, check out our live streams Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Hit the Discord server in the link below. Come join us. We have a good time. We good discussions about stuff. I posted about getting this. Also be sure to check out the channel memberships in the join button down below. Really helps support the channel, and thank you to all our channel members who do support us here, because this is a tricky thing to do, is running a toy YouTube channel full-time. So I appreciate all the support and help. And of course, you can check out my awesome graphic designer on social media or on our Discord at DarkClaw643 and Hero Club at hero-club.com for tokusatsu interviews, news, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, Emergency, Dekaranger!